Hey everyone, Ryan from Ebike Escape, and in this video we're reviewing the Magicycle Cruiser, an affordable fat tire electric bike with some pretty impressive specs. So let's get into it. Before we get into the walk around, Magicycle has provided a discount code that is currently good for $200 off your purchase. I will put that code in the description, and also if you use my link, that helps me continue to make videos like this one. So thanks in advance for your support. I will also have links to our electric bike accessories list, our top e-bike brands page, and finally our electric bike discounts code page where I track all the latest deals on electric bike brands that I follow. And at the time of filming, it is also nearing Black Friday, so I'm also tracking all the Black Friday deals. I'll put a link to that post in the description as well. With that, let's get into the walk around. All right, here it is, the Magicycle High Step. They also sell it in a step-through version, though I think it's more of a mid-step, but it is going to be more accessible than this frame. This is a dark bluish black color that I actually think looks really nice with some of the turquoise branding on the bike. Let's start up here in the front with these fat tires. So 26 by 4-inch tires. These are made by Kenda. They have the reflective sidewall. I really like that for increased visibility at night. And you can see there's some tread on here, so you can definitely take this off-road. All right, moving on to the brakes. So we have 180 millimeter mechanical disc brakes on here, bigger than the 160 that you see on some electric bikes. For the actual brakes, these are unbranded mechanical disc brakes. I would have liked to see them go with a name brand, perhaps Tektro. It's a brand that I have a lot of experience with and have been pretty happy with. I think the brakes are perhaps something that can be improved on this electric bike. I've actually seen some other YouTube videos of people talking about these brakes, but this is perhaps the one component that I think can be improved on in a future iteration. They just seem to need a little bit more adjusting, so I have to play with them a little bit more. And the rear brake just doesn't feel quite as smooth as I feel on many electric bikes with perhaps some name brand mechanical disc brakes on them. You can see we have some Magicycle branding up here on the fork. And of course we have an integrated front light. I think when you look at the specs of this electric bike, it's overall just very impressive. So you have integrated front and rear lights. This is actually, if not identical, it is very similar to the ones that currently come on rad power bikes. Now this light is made up of two actual lights. You have this nice halo ring around the perimeter. That's going to help traffic see you much better. And then really that center light, that's going to help you see while you're out on the road. Of course, I always recommend secondary lights if you're going to do a lot of riding at night. And I also like some of the rechargeable lights because I like the flashing modes during the day. All right, moving on to the fenders. The bike comes with front and rear fenders, plastic fenders that mount right here to that front fork. And speaking of the fork, this fork does have a lockout on it, but it just has two positions, either locked or unlocked. As far as suspension goes, this actually feels pretty good. Definitely going to help out if you take this on some trails. At the head tube here, we do have some more Magicycle branding. They do offer a few accessories that you can purchase that will go on here because there are 4 mounting bolts. And here's a closer look at these cables coming down, and besides the one that goes to the light as well as the mechanical disc brake, they all go into the bottom of the down tube here. Really nice integrated look. And while we're down here, I will point out the location of the controller at the bottom of the down tube. I think they had to do this because this battery is just absolutely massive. 52 volt, 15 amp hour battery. I would have liked to see a different location for the controller, but perhaps this is the only place that they could put it. It actually looks like a very clean frame design with this battery. It almost looks integrated, even though you can pop this out. I will show you in a second. And then you have this kind of bump out here for the controller. Nothing wrong with that, because of course they do have to put the controller somewhere, and I don't think they had any other options. And then of course you have all the cables going into the controller down at the bottom of the frame here. All right, so this 52 volt, 15 amp hour battery, there's the charger port, and they do have a battery indicator over on top of the battery here. So if I push that, battery is full, if you can see it in the daylight here. All right, and over on the other side, this is where the keyhole is. So if I turn this key to the right, it's gonna pop that battery out, and it actually comes out at an angle. So you can see this massive battery, 52 volt, 15 amp hours, 780 watt hours, and you can kind of see the pivot point where that battery attaches on the bike. So one of the nice things is because it does come out at an angle, you don't have to slide it off or anything. So it's actually not too difficult to put on. I can actually do it here with one hand. The main thing is just getting the battery into that pivot point and then just pushing the battery closed just like that. Moving on to the cockpit, we have faux leather grips. These are very common. I see them on a lot of electric bikes. As far as brake levers go, these are unbranded, but they do have some grip, which is a nice addition. And I really like the bikes that have these types of brake levers that have the bell integrated right here into the left side. You can easily hit that while you're riding. Moving on to the right side of the bike, you can see we have a Shimano 7-speed shifter. Like that, they went with the name brand. This is the SIS index shifter, thumb shifter. And while I do prefer the trigger shifters, as you'll see in the upcoming riding footage, I was wearing gloves and I actually was able to shift pretty easily. So maybe that's one advantage of these big thumb shifters. And I should note with these brake levers is they also have motor cutoffs. So as soon as you hit those brakes, it's going to cut power to the motor. Right hand twist grip throttle on the Magicycle Cruiser. Really like the twist grip throttles. And if you are looking to upgrade your grips, Ergon sells some grips. I will put a link in the top right hand corner of your screen, locking grips that work with these thumb throttles. I've been using those and I recommend them. It's a cheap upgrade and it does feel a bit better, and of course the grips won't twist. Let's talk about this display. I actually really like this display. It has a bunch of customizations that you can do. So there's a power button on the top of the controls over here on the left, as well as a pedal assist up and down, and then kind of an I button. So there's a look at the display, and it is sunny out, and I don't know if the camera will show it as well, but I find that I'm able to read this display even in direct sunlight. And I'll go ahead and hit the throttle here so you can see how this display looks when you're using it up close. You can see we have wattage in the top left-hand side, miles per hour with this kind of cool looking speedometer. Your pedal assist level is in the bottom right-hand corner, and then trip in the bottom left currently. And if it hit the middle I button, you can see we'll cycle through odometer, max speed 28.5, average speed, time, and back to the trip. And there is a percentage meter for that battery. Really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the advanced functions. I do go through how to change the top speed later in this video in the first person riding footage, but basically hold the plus and minus button at the same time. And you'll see all these settings: wheel, speed limit, brightness, voltage, advanced, dormancy. And then you have units, password, factory, display, and exit. So I'm just going to pop through some of these. If you go into display, you can see your trip reset in there. There's a factory reset there. You can set a password. Units is going to be your imperial or metric. Dormancy is going to be the time that it takes for the bike to shut off. And there's even more settings here in the advanced settings. You can look these up in the manual, but some of the things I'll point out are the power modes, as well as the slow start and sensitivity. And you do have some voltage settings in here as well. Brightness for the display, I have that turned all the way up. And then I will show you the speed limit later in this video, so I won't go through that. And then wheel size is actually set to 28 inches, and I believe that is due to the height of these fat tires because of course they are 26 inches, but then they are also a lot bigger. And so 28 inches probably gives you a more accurate reading of your current speed. So I'm a huge fan of this display. Good job, Magicycle. Next, I want to talk about the handlebars. You can see that these handlebars have a pretty high rise to them. You'll be able to tell that a little bit more in my third-person riding footage, that this bike puts you in a nice upright riding position. Next, let's talk about some of the accessories that are included on this electric bike. You can see we have the top tube bag. They also send a hat and some other accessories, but I really like that they include a top tube bag because this is something that I recommend on our electric bike accessories list. Provides some room for your phone. Perhaps if it's raining, you can use the touchscreen even if your phone is in here. And there's some small pockets in here as well. You could put a key. So really like the top tube bag. They're super versatile and we find that we use them a lot. And here are some bottle cage bosses. You can see I actually haven't put a bottle cage on here. I think it's a little bit of an awkward spot for one, just getting on and off this bike. If you wanted to stand over it, you might hit the bottle cage. Perhaps a folding lock, which would be a little bit shorter here, might be okay, but there's really no other room to put a bottle cage boss, so I'm sure they had to put it here. Since we're here, let's talk about the seat. It's actually branded Magicycle, and it is a little bit of a wider seat. When I was riding this the other day for quite a long time, I actually found this seat is pretty comfortable. Of course, you can upgrade it to something a little bit more plush if you want ideas. Again, check out our electric bike accessories list, but I think we'll be leaving this seat on. All right, let's talk about the pedals. These are the Well-Go pedals that come on so many electric bikes, metal pedals. Just fine, they get the job done. If you want grip, of course, you can upgrade those, get something that is a little bit more of a unique color to add some style to your electric bike. But one of the nice things is that kickstand is located towards the rear of the bike, so no issues with the pedals hitting if you're moving this bike around your garage. And the kickstand is quite large, so no issues. As you can see here in the grass, bike's not going to tip over. Very sturdy kickstand. Here's a little look at the rear mechanical disc brakes, and you can see they put some other branding right here, magicyclebike.com. And then we have a rear rack, which is included. It comes installed. You can see it has some pannier hangers and actually comes with these straps as well. I just feel like the company is including pretty much everything that you could need with this electric bike at such a great price, currently priced at $15.99. And then of course we also have those rear plastic fenders, which are nice, come pre-installed as well. And I've been seeing this more on some recent electric bikes where the motor cable actually comes in through the left side of the electric bike. And you can see it actually comes in between the dropouts as well as that disc. Again, that's going to protect that motor cable because a lot of times it's sticking out on the right side, and that's usually why they have a derailleur guard over there to help protect that precious motor cable. And Magicycle has a torque arm here that's going to help keep that wheel nice and snug on the bike. On the rear of the bike we have an integrated rear light, and the lights are actually off, but I'm hitting the brakes and the brake light still goes on, so that's a nice feature. And if you turn the front light on, that light is always going to be on, and then it goes brighter when you hit the brake. Here's a closer look at that 750 watt motor, peaks at 900 watts according to the display. You have a 14 to 28 tooth freewheel back here and a Shimano Altus derailleur. Now Shimano Altus comes on many electric bikes. I find that's perfectly adequate for most people, and one of the nice things is if you do need to replace it, it's actually not too challenging and you can maintain these with the barrel adjuster if you need to do some adjustment to the shifting. I actually didn't have to do any adjustments to the shifting on this bike, so that was nice. And we do have a torque arm on the right side as well. Magicycle does provide a clear plastic tape to help prevent any damage to your frame from the chain. Single walled chain ring up here in the front. Would have liked to see a double one, but not a huge deal. All right, that concludes the walk around. Let's get to some first person riding footage. I'll walk you through the various pedal assist levels, show you throttle only, and then we'll take it up the large hill. All right, let's get started with the first person riding footage. First, I will do throttle only. We'll see how fast this electric bike goes, and we'll go from there, talk about the various pedal assist levels, and then I'll take it up the hill. I got my GPS speed over here on the left, and we have the Magicycle display, which is even visible on a bright sunny day like today. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. 18. There's 20. 22. 23. And I think it's cutting us at 20 miles per hour because it initially went up above that. But I would say 20 miles per hour top speed on throttle only. And I do get the question a lot, can you pedal this bike if the battery happens to die? So I'm going to go ahead and turn the pedal assist off. And I'm in 5th gear right now, going about 10 miles an hour, pedaling a little bit. Most often on flat ground, given the gears that they give you, you can ride it without any battery if you happen to run out or if there's issues. 5th gear is a little bit harder to get started, so you might want to go down to 3rd gear. So 8 to 10 miles an hour, I would say you can probably pedal this bike comfortably. So we just did top speed as this bike comes. Now I am going to override the speed. So I held the plus and minus pedal assist buttons at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and go into speed limit here. Turn this all the way up as high as it will go. Looks like 28 miles per hour. Hitting the center button or the I button saves it. While I'm in the settings here, I'm going to go into advanced, and I want to talk about the power settings. So you can actually change the power that the motor gives you at every assist level. You can actually see that it gives you various options: 0 to 7 power set, 0 to 9, 1 to 9, 0 to 3, 0 to 5, 1 to 5. And so I'm going to leave it in 7 for now, but you can see I have the pedal assist levels 1 through 7, and it starts at 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then at pedal assist 7, I get 100% of the motor power. Now this is something that I think we'll start to see on more displays, allowing you to customize the different power levels. I have only seen it a few times as of now, but I really like that you can customize this. So I'm going to talk about the various pedal assist levels here in a little bit, but I thought it was worth mentioning the levels that I kind of changed in the advanced settings here. So I will put on the screen the settings that it came with, but these are the settings that I'm using. I'm not saying they're the best settings, but just know that you can go in here and change them to your liking. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the throttle only test with the speed overridden to 28 miles per hour. 14, 16, 17, there's 20, 3, 25, 26, and we got a stop sign up here, 28. That is extremely impressive, 28 miles an hour on throttle alone. So now let's talk about the various pedal assist modes. Just keep in mind that usually this bike is going to come as a Class 2 electric bike, limited to 20 miles per hour. So you should be aware of any local laws and regulations as it relates to the different classes of electric bikes where you live. I have this overridden just to show you the power of this bike. But just a disclaimer, you're overriding the top speed at your own risk. It's not something I necessarily would recommend. All right, so we'll start off here in pedal assist 1. Remember, this is only 20% power, which is kind of cool because I can get more of a workout in these lower pedal assist levels if I want. I'm actually only in 4th gear. Usually I'm riding in 7th gear with the way that many electric bikes come programmed from the company. So I actually feel like I need a little bit more power if I wanted to go faster here. So we'll go ahead and take a right here. Going pedal assist 2. So that's going to be 30% power. Going about 9 miles an hour. Again, still getting a bit of a workout. Pedal assist 3, definitely feel it kicking in a little bit more there. Might want to shift up 5th gear. All right, going about 11 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and go into pedal assist 4. 14 miles an hour. Could maybe shift up here. Pedal assist 5. And now I think we're gonna hit the 20. Maybe not quite. Let's go ahead and pedal assist 6. There's 20 miles an hour. Definitely need to shift up at that point. And let's go full power here. And it is pretty windy, so just keep that in mind. And now we're really cooking. 24 miles an hour. $27. There's 28. And of course I could just throttle as well. It seems to be holding me at 25, 26 with throttle only. I know it said 27 or 28 when I did throttle only back there before. All right, with that, let's get to the hill climb test. Okay, here it is, the hill that I take up all the electric bikes that I review so you can compare between different models. And I'm gonna keep the bike overridden here. So top speed is set at 28 miles per hour. I'll also put on the screen the specs of this hill so you can get an idea of how steep it is because the GoPro does not do it justice. All right, we're going at 23. Now, something to keep in mind is it's very windy today. It's actually quite cold. It feels like it's 31. And fat tire electric bikes, just in general, are heavier, wider tires, bigger bikes. Fat tires also lead to more rolling resistance, still going about 15, 16. $13, kind of at the steepest part here. I think 13 might be the minimum speed up this hill, throttle only, which is pretty impressive. Of course, you got a big battery on this bike, which is nice. And we are pulling 900 watts. It's actually on the top left-hand corner of the LCD display here. Battery's showing 86%. When I started riding, I think it was very close to 100. And we're almost at the top here. And again, I think that wind is definitely having an impact as well. So yeah, as expected, no problem making it up this hill, throttle only. If the footage that I just took doing throttle only is any indication of the power of this electric bike. Okay, now I'm going to actually go back down the hill and then I will go back up in the various pedal assist modes to give you an idea of how this bike feels going up a steep hill. Okay, here we are at the bottom of the hill. I'm actually going to need to start pedaling here to shift down. Let's start in pedal assist 1, but we're gonna quickly go higher because, again, only 20% power. Doesn't feel like a lot. Working quite a bit here in 4th gear. Go ahead and go into pedal assist 2. I feel like I need even more power. There we go. Pedal assist 3. 4th gear. Still getting a workout, I would say. Let's go ahead and go into pedal assist 4. A little bit more power there. Again, I feel like the customizations and the advanced settings, that is one of the selling points of this electric bike because It's not necessarily going to come on other fat tire electric bikes that you might be considering. I'm gonna actually go ahead and shift up here. So pedal assist 4, I'm only using, let's see, 700 or so watts. Let's go ahead and go to pedal assist 5. Shift up to 6th gear. I think I could even go in 7th. So it still shows that I'm getting 900 watts right now, even in the pedal assist 6, which wasn't 100% power. But yeah, 17 miles an hour. And the hill is almost over here. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what you can expect going up a large hill in pedal assist. Again, you're gonna conserve that battery, so I always recommend pedaling if at all possible. Increase your range, give you a bit of a workout. All right, with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Magicycle Cruiser. There are no shortage of fat tire electric bikes on the market today, which of course is a good thing if you're shopping for one. And as of late, prices have been increasing, so when you see a deal like this, it's hard not to stop and take a closer look. Magicycle's market strategy is to offer a better spec'd fat tire e-bike for the same or better price compared to the competition. At $13.99 with my $200 off coupon, I am almost certain that it offers the best specs you'll be able to find at this price. In fact, they had offered an even sweeter deal if you were one of the first to purchase this electric bike. Let's just talk about the highlights of this bike, and that is the battery, a huge 52 volt, 15 amp hour or 780 watt hour battery, and the motor, a 750 watt, 900 watt peak motor that, as you saw, is able to get you up to impressive speeds on throttle alone. And let's not forget that this bike comes with a Shimano shifter and derailleur, plus you get a rear rack with straps, integrated lights, fenders, and that top tube bag. As an aside, I would not use the included cable lock that is included, and instead look at our electric bike accessories list for a better quality lock. On top of all that, the display is quite nice, has an easy to navigate interface, and allows you to customize your bike to your liking. The one thing I think could be improved upon slightly are the brakes, though yes, they will stop you. As with all fat tire bikes, these are big bikes and heavy bikes at that, with the Magicycle Cruiser coming in at 75 pounds. Still, I was impressed that my wife, who is 5'5", was able to ride this bike. For comparison purposes, I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. I also really like these high sweeping handlebars. They limit the accessories you can put on the handlebars, but many will appreciate the upright riding position right from the box without having to buy other bike parts. I should mention that the charger is a 3 amp charger, which will charge your battery up slightly faster than the 2 amp chargers that many electric bikes come with. It is also the first charger on an e-bike that I've reviewed that also has a built-in fan to keep the controller cool. Nice work, Magicycle. So what else should you know? Well, Magicycle is a new e-bike company, and they seem to have blitzed the US market by offering a super compelling e-bike at a great price. They have also sent e-bikes to tons of reviewers just like me, so you might have already seen this e-bike around. This strategy has paid off from a marketing perspective, but you'll also want to see what you can gather from actual customers, especially those that have needed support. Perhaps anyone who has purchased this e-bike can chime in the comment section below to share their experience, positive or negative. In conclusion, the Magicycle is a fantastically priced e-bike, and the bike looks sharp, save for maybe the location of that controller. If you're looking for a fat tire e-bike that will take you anywhere, but want to save a few $100 or more compared to the competition, then it surely should be on your shortlist. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, link in the description to save $200 off. Appreciate your support. Other resources as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. $70. Sorry. No worries.